Welcome everyone to this first live Q&A of 2021 for the High Road West Regeneration Project. We will be making a start as it's 6:05. My name is Ian Glover from Soundings and I will be facilitating this evening. I can see that we have a number of participants from the local community with us already tonight, and I'd firstly like to thank everyone for joining us and giving up their time to be involved in this discussion. Recently, a pack of consultation information relating to the next steps in the High Road West project was sent out to over 3,000 residents from the local area. And this evening is intended to provide an opportunity to ask questions and meet the team. Before I introduce the team and hand over to them to tell you more about what's happening, I'd like to explain a bit about how tonight's session will work. So starting at 6:05 and ending at 7 p.m, this Q&A will be held in 3 parts. The first 2 parts, taking 40 minutes, the team would like to talk to you about some of the information that has been provided, and then they would like to take time to answer a few questions which have been sent to us by local residents in advance this evening. The third part of the Q&A, taking 20 minutes, will be dedicated to answering questions sent in to us this evening, which you can submit at any point during the discussion using the chat function on your right. This event is being recorded and will be made available. And for any questions that we've not been able to answer this evening, we will be providing a summary of the discussion, which will be made publicly available on the High Road West website towards the end of this month. Details will be shown at the end, but that is www.highroadwest.london. So I'd now like to ask the team you have with you this evening to introduce themselves and hand over to them to take you through some of the information.
Hi there, my name is Matthew Maple. I'm a regeneration manager at Haringey Council, and I'm very excited to be able to speak with you today about this very exciting scheme. I've been working on High Road West since 2014, and I work with an excellent team of people. It includes colleagues Molly Perman, Scott Monday, Lauren Schneider, David Clark, Fatima Kursakai and Sarah Carruthers, as well as being led by Head of Area Sarah Lovell. And can I hand over now to Avni Mehta?
Hi everyone, I'm Avni Mehta. I'm the project lead from Lendlease for High Road West. We know this has been a really difficult year for everyone, so I hope you've all been keeping well and safe. I've worked on this scheme since 2017 when Lendlease submitted the bid for the project, so I'm really excited to be here again with you all. I know it's albeit virtually to continue the discussions on the master plan proposals. Of course, we would have loved to do this face to face, but whilst there are still restrictions in place, we'll try and make the most of the virtual platforms that we have so that we can be taking you through some of our ideas and proposals and of course answering your questions. I'm joined by some of the wider Lendlease team as well, who in due course would obviously love to meet you and continue these discussions with you too. I'll hand over to Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex Roberts. I'm an associate urban designer and architect at Studio Ego West. We are responsible for coordinating the design of the master plan and also the landscape design for the site-wide area. And I've been on the project on and off since 2016. So really looking forward to talking to you more about the master plan later in the presentation.
Thank you very much, Alex. So for those of you who don't know, High Road West is the new neighbourhood that we're looking to create in North Tottenham, opposite the Spurs Stadium, that extends between the railway line and the High Road, as well as between Brereton Road to the south and the B&M store, and includes the Love Lane estate to the south and the industrial area to the north. Like to flick to the next slide. Since 2012, Haringey Council has been working with the community to develop a vision for the area, which reflects their priorities and aspirations. This includes residents living on the Love Lane estate, as well as local businesses and people who visit and spend time in the area. We have undertaken a range of different engagement activities that have included the master plan engagement back in 2014 and through a range of different activities, including resident design panels, resident procurement panels, and such and so forth. In 2017, the council appointed Lendlease as development partner for High Road West. The council and Lendlease are committed to continue to develop these proposals with the community and deliver this vision. It's very important to the council that people are part of the decision making that forms the neighbourhoods that are being created in our borough. In January 2021, the Mayor of London agreed to provide some additional funding for the scheme, which means that we can move on to the next stage of engagement with the community. The scheme will have local people at its heart and ensure that they are an integral part of the neighbourhood's future. That's why it's really important that we hear your views. We'd very much like to hear your views tonight. Any ideas, any aspirations that you have, please let us know.
So early last week, we sent, I think it was just over 3,000 copies of this master plan pack out to the immediate neighbours of the High Road West site. So some of you will have received this pack, which included a master plan information booklet that sets out kind of our ideas and proposals for the evolving master plan, alongside a feedback form for you to complete, and a translation sheet if required, and a free post envelope. If you didn't receive this pack, then please do get in touch with us with the contact details that we'll share later in this presentation, and we can send a pack over to you. And of course, if you have any questions on anything that's been included as part of this pack, just let us know. So today, of course, like Ian said earlier, we would love for you to submit any questions for us to answer today. But we just want to let you know that this won't form part of the formal feedback, so please do, if you do want to give us some more formal feedback, please do go to our website to either complete the online survey, which is fairly quick and easy, which you can complete at the website that's shown there, or if you've received the pack of information or you would like to receive the pack of information, let us know, and obviously fill in the feedback form because we'd love to hear what you think of our proposals so far. In terms of, I guess, just logistics of how to return the feedback form, of course, please do read through all the information carefully, fill in the feedback form and the translation sheet if required, insert it into the free post envelope, and obviously it will be posted to us for free, so we look forward to receiving it.
So the next 10 or so slides will be talking about the master plan. The vision for High Road West was created from what we heard from local people on what they want to see in their local area. This is to create a vibrant and sustainable neighbourhood and support the creation of a new leisure destination for London. 4 key themes have been identified as the priorities of the community, and we're going to talk about these in a little bit more detail. They include variety of new homes, public and green spaces, jobs, workspaces, retail, and new community and leisure facilities. Next slide, please. In 2018, we spoke to the community extensively about new homes. We learnt that North Tottenham needs a greater number and variety of homes. A £90 million fund from the Mayor of London will help bring wide-reaching improvements to the local area, including 500 much-needed new council homes within High Road West, which is more than the number proposed in 2018. The scheme will have local people at its heart and ensure that they are an integral part of their neighbourhood's future, which is why we want to hear your thoughts on the master plan proposals. Next slide. The emerging High Road West master plan seeks to deliver a diverse mix of homes throughout the community with a range of styles and sizes, from 2- and 3-bed family apartments to studios and 1-bed flats. A range of housing options will be offered across the master plan, creating mixed and integrated communities throughout the scheme. All buildings will be designed to the same high levels of external appearance and provide a good mix of new quality homes. This approach ensures that all residences benefit from the comforts of a new home and a new sense of community. Next slide, please. The new homes will be built with high quality materials and designed to be environmentally friendly. All homes will meet modern space standards, incorporating features to help residents with children, as well as those with disabilities and mobility issues. Homes and open spaces will be safe and secure, designed for all ages to relax, play and spend time in. Next slide, please. In speaking to the community over several years, we understand there is a need for new, better quality public and green spaces in the local area. The High Road West scheme offers an exciting opportunity to deliver a range of new public and green spaces for the whole community. These will include a new public park, a civic square, and communal gardens for residences. We want High Road West to be a healthy and inviting place. Next slide, please. There will be a mix of new open spaces across the area, creating an attractive outdoor spaces for residents, visitors, and people who work in the area. By being outside and using these spaces, we want to encourage a greater sense of community. As we come back stronger from the COVID pandemic, we know how important public and green spaces are to good health and well-being. Next slide, please. A new civic heart. This highly active square will have a range of features: quiet corners to sit and relax, places to eat and drink, interactive water features for children to play in and families to enjoy, flexible spaces to socialise and hold community events throughout the year. We welcome the community's idea on what to call this public square, and please fill in the feedback form or take the online survey to let us know your ideas. Next slide, please. A community park. This green and playful park will be designed to welcome everyone. Inclusive areas for young and elderly, equipped play areas, flat lawns for football and group sports, plenty of space for picnics in small and larger groups, green walking routes connecting to business uses in the north and civic uses in the south. Again, we welcome the community's ideas on what to call this space, which we call Peacock Park. Please fill in a feedback form and take the online survey to let us know your ideas. Next slide, please. From talking to residents and businesses, we have learned that local people want more jobs and training opportunities in North Tottenham, as well as a greater variety of shops, places to eat, drink and socialise. Over its lifetime, High Road West will provide over 3,500 jobs to the area, over 1,500 training opportunities, and bring £10 million worth of investment into community and business initiatives and programmes, ensuring that local people are at the heart of building their neighbourhood. Next slide, please. The emerging Masterplan seeks to deliver a diverse mix of uses, including workspace, retail, community space, light industrial units and leisure facilities, alongside a significant number of new homes. This mix of new uses will be located across the area, creating life and energy throughout the day with the coming and going of residents, visitors and workers. Next slide, please. This industrious neighbourhood will be designed for industries, workplaces and residents. Streets will be carefully designed to ensure people feel comfortable and safe. Buildings will be designed to ensure industrial noises and fumes do not affect the homes above. A mix of units and workspaces will support a variety of businesses across the sectors. Next slide, please. The proposals will support the High Road via High Road Revitalisation Programme, which will support and enhance existing local retailers and businesses, provide a business support programme to build greater resilience, help increase local business turnover, encourage more employment and apprenticeship opportunities, environmental improvements to create a brighter and more colourful High Road identity that celebrates local people. Next slide, please. The exciting neighbourhood will offer spaces and opportunities for new and creative enterprises. Interconnected working yards will be set back from the High Road behind the existing shops. Flexible smaller spaces to host pop-up markets and restaurants, workshop space for local makers and businesses, retail and hospitality space, a creative mix of employment opportunities for local people. Next slide, please. We know that there is a need for a greater variety and better quality of community facilities, especially those focusing on leisure and activities for young people. High Road West offers an opportunity to work alongside the existing community to deliver enhanced community facilities, including a new learning and library centre and a refurbished Grange community hub. The scheme's community facilities will include focus programmes and funding to empower local people to influence the decisions being made for their area. Next slide, please. The emerging master plan seeks to deliver two key community buildings. These are an iconic library and learning centre located on both the High Road and the new public square, as well as refurbishments to the Grange building to create an invaluable community hub at the centre of the scheme. Next slide, please. This colourful new community asset will be designed for everyone. The community library for all. It will be a welcoming and social there will be a welcoming and social entrance and arrival experience, a range of active spaces on the ground floor, such as community cafe and spaces for people to meet and socialise, traditional library facilities alongside new exciting technology, and flexible spaces to hold a wide variety of events and activities. Next slide, please. The Grange will be a refurbished community hub and will offer a range of communities, services, information and events. A mix of internal and external spaces will encourage flexible use by community groups. Other community uses will include a community theatre, an additional childcare facility at Station Master's House and a media arts centre. And these are all possible ideas that we have discussed previously. Next slide, please. Over to Matthew.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, so Alex has described some of the range of improvements and benefits that are being delivered by the High Road West scheme. It's been really important for the council and Lend-Lease throughout this process, from the outset to the current day and going forward, that the scheme is benefiting the community in all of the decisions that we are making in terms of developing the scheme design and the community and economic programme, and that they're aimed at supporting people to be healthier, safer, more financially secure and provide better opportunities for a stronger community. The scheme will see the £10 million investment into social and economic programmes and investment initiatives in the local area, a broad spectrum of different activities which will help communities, businesses and residents in the area. The programme will include aspects such as education, employment and training, plus a dedicated investment programme for businesses to benefit from support and training. As we come out of the COVID-19 crisis, this sort of support has never been more important, and it's a fantastic boost to our local community and in the creation of jobs for those people who live in and around the area. You can read more about the proposals in the master plan booklet, but we're also really wanting to speak with you about what people want in the area as well, to try and help us inform and refine our proposals. If we could move to the next slide, please. So the phasing of the development, one of the key aspects of the phasing is that it takes place piece by piece, as it were. So the first phase will be what's known as Whitehall Mews. It's on the bottom part of the plan that you can see in front of you at the end of Whitehall Street. And the development of that space allows for the next people living in the blocks that are in the next phase to move into that area, and then for the next phase to then start development. That process then proceeds in the same fashion going forward until the whole of the Love Lane estate is improved for its new housing and new town square and new facilities that are being proposed. over the next year, we'll be working with residents, businesses and the wider community to develop this phasing plan. I think it's really important to note that this plan isn't fixed. We want to speak with people about their aspirations for their new homes, their new businesses. We want to hear people's views, and the phasing will be developed alongside the best interests of people living in the area. So moving on to the next slide. So we need your feedback. All the feedback we receive from the community will inform the next stage of the master plan. This process is part of a long series of different engagements and consultations that have taken place throughout the process. From working with the ITLA, the Independent Tenant and Leaseholder Advisor, on a new Love Lane Resident Charter. We mentioned about the Love Lane Resident Design Guide and various other initiatives. This is part of the process. It will continue on to the resident ballot, which will take place in June, and it will then continue after that, assuming we get, assuming there's a yes vote to that ballot. We want to work very closely with the community. We'll be working up to a planning application later in the year, and all of the feedback that we're getting now will help us develop the best possible proposal, best possible scheme that benefits the local community. Can move to the next slide. I think handing to Ian.
Thank you, Avni, Matt and Alex. We now have time to answer a few questions that have been sent through to us in advance of the session this evening. We have a couple of questions on green space to start with, and I think I'm going to hand over to Alex to tell us what that first question is, and obviously get into giving us an answer to that.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, thank you, Ian. I've got the first question here, which is, will there be parks for children to enjoy, and where will they be located? Yes, there will be open spaces. Play and activities for young people is really important and fundamental aspect of the scheme. As I mentioned in the presentation, it's one of the key drivers from the community. And so I described the park that we're calling Peacock Park to the north of the site, and this sits between the high road and the railway, where a number of new residential blocks will be, and there are other play areas as well that will be incorporated throughout the site, and they will be smaller play areas, but the largest open space will be in the north, the area we're calling Peacock Park. I'll just move on to the second question. What will be done to ensure the green and public spaces will be safe for families to use? So all new public space in the scheme, and that includes the streets, will be designed with safety and security in mind. There are a number of measures, regulations that we must adhere to, and there are certain certifications such as Secure by Design which can be used also. This essentially includes very early, as part of the design process, to build in safety into the design, and that includes things like ensuring adequate street lighting, as well as natural surveillance from the arrangement of buildings that are around public spaces. It also obviously has something to do with estate management, so I'll just pass over to perhaps Avni can touch on the wider site, and maybe there'll be something she can say on management of spaces, and also Haringey.
Sure. I think we've actually got a few questions a bit later on that have been pre-submitted on specifically on estate management. So I think we might come back to that one if that's okay. But I guess I'll just add to what Alex said around the ensuring that all the green and public spaces will be safe. I just wanted to emphasise that it's always been a key priority for us, and design principle, as Alex said, to ensure all the spaces that we're creating are safe for the entire community, especially families. So we'll make sure that not only the spaces themselves feel safe, welcoming and accessible to everyone, but that there'll also be a series of kind of interlinked spaces between all those key green and public spaces that feel comfortable for people to use. And like Alex said, they'll be really well lit at night, and we'll make sure they've got enough access to daylight during the day as well.
Great, thanks, Avni. I'll just move on to question 3. Will all outdoor areas be open to the general public, or will some be for residents only? So yes, there are outdoor areas for the public use, and there are also private use as well. So the public outdoor areas include Peacock Park in the north that I mentioned, and also Mosel Square, the Civic Square to the south. And then of course there are streets interlinking between, and then smaller spaces that Avni just touched on that are connecting all of these spaces together, as well as the open spaces and the public realm. For the publicly accessible spaces, there are also private and communal gardens, and that includes courtyards and balconies, and some are communal and some will be private, depending on whether you're in a flat or a duplex, or the different types of apartments and homes that we're creating, and those will be specific for residents, and some are communal and some are shared and some aren't. I think that's
Brilliant.
all of the green spaces ones. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex and Avni, for those. Just moving on, we've had a couple of questions around transport and traffic that we'd like to answer next. And I think I'm handing back over to you, Alex.
Back to me again. Yep, that's fine. So the first question on transport and traffic is, how will the scheme encourage people to walk and cycle? One of the key drivers and one of the principles for the entire development is to create a walkable neighbourhood. And so what that means is integrating it into existing links that are beyond the site boundary, essentially. So that's to existing green spaces, to the existing street network, and to make those routes comfortable for walking and cycling. And what that essentially means is a low speed area in terms of vehicle use, so limited vehicle access and low speeds within the area. We're also proposing a new cycle route that links between the north and the south of the site, and links to existing cycle network around the area. And we're also considering initiatives such as a cycle hire scheme or things along that line that could be integrated into the scheme. There's also obviously the convenience of the high road and the provision of new shops and cafes. So in terms of accessibility, it is a very accessible area, and therefore walking and cycling is encouraged just by having shops on your doorstep, essentially. I think the second question is over to Matthew.
Yeah, thank you very much. So just following on from that that question, the next question is about if traffic is diverted from the North Circular, what can we do to try and tackle issues of pollution, try and reduce pollution? I think what's important is to recognise that this is trying to address issues of traffic and transport is an area-wide thing. High Road West will absolutely be contributing and setting an example, I think, for future change across the area. I like to think, and I hope people will agree, that the changes we've had at White Hart Lane, the public realm works there, have encouraged sustainable movement already, and so it's much more walkable space. I remember working with one of the disability groups in the area, where there was literally no way that people could get onto the pavement area, and the work that we've done on White Hart Lane has made it much more accessible. But also White Hart Lane was one of the first healthy streets initiatives in London, I understand, under the current programme, and so it wasn't just about creating better accessibility, it was about creating better environmental improvements, so things like shading with the new trees and the sustainable drainage systems, creating spaces which are conducive to activities as well as just movement. So if one can imagine that those sort of improvements being extended across a scheme, then I hope people will see that there is the opportunity to create a much better and more attractive and walkable environment. Just touching on that a further question which was related, which is about the traffic and parking requirements on match days. So again, there's a similar issue there, which is about trying to manage traffic across a wider area. It's not just a localised issue, and the borough is looking at initiatives such as low transport neighbourhoods and car clubs and all sorts of things. So High Road West again will be absolutely a catalyst and the forefront of trying to address the wider area traffic and transport issues, as well, of course, as working closely with Tottenham Hotspurs Football Club to try and coordinate the different activities, exciting activities that hopefully when COVID restrictions are released that can happen at the stadium, and the High Road West scheme will coordinate very well with it. So sorry, I've taken two questions. I think there's one in between, which is about train capacity at White Hart Lane. Avni, were you going to?
Yep, sure, I can take that one. So, so we had a question in which asked how we were planning to coordinate with TfL at White Hart Lane. So I guess that's a good segue from what Matt mentioned in terms of kind of coordination and engaging with our key stakeholders, which we will absolutely be doing, ensuring that we are coordinated with all the stakeholders in the immediate area, and this of course includes TfL. So what we'll make sure we do is that we coordinate with TfL both before the development and the construction commences, but also throughout the whole kind of life cycle and development period, to ensure all parties are aware of each other's operational requirements, and that we mitigate any disruption between us, and that we can work really closely together as neighbours as part of this scheme. So yeah, that's, I think, wraps up the transport and traffic questions. Ian.
Brilliant, thank you, Avni. We have a couple of questions relating to estate management, but before we get into that, we have had one live question come in, which I will read out. And the question is, when will the demolishment of the Grace Centre and hostel on Whitehall Street occur? And I think perhaps, Matthew, that might be a question for you.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. So as mentioned earlier in the presentation, the location of the Grace Centre and the Whitehall Hostel is in the first phases of the development. So we're looking to get on site between 2022 and 2023, and we're working with the Grace Centre and the Whitehall Hostel to find suitable relocations for their services. They're very important services. We want to make sure that they're getting good, suitable quality accommodation, so that they can continue to deliver the important benefits that they provide at the moment. But yeah, the answer to your question is around 2022, 2023.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Matt. We're going to move on now just to some of the questions that were sent in advance regarding estate management, and I think we might be going back to you, Matt, to read out that question and give us an answer.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so the question was, what is the approach to litter and waste with the increase in residents' businesses, stroke businesses? How will good design ensure that the area is looked after and encourage people to take pride in their area? So look, it's a coordinated approach. The neighbourhoods that are looked after are often neighbourhoods that people have both a pride in, but also the layout and the design of the neighbourhood is such that there is proper definition between what is private space and what is public space, and there's none of the sort of lost spaces that are sometimes inherent in badly designed spaces, which are prone to being misused. We also recognise there are practical issues such as creating well-designed bin spaces, making sure that there's suitable bins in the area, and making sure that there's proper overlooking, that people can that there is activity in the spaces that means that there is positive and proper use of the public realm in the neighbourhood. but also it's about ownership of the neighbourhood as well. So we are hoping that through the community and economic programme that we're looking to promote, that we can encourage people to be more involved, provide the opportunities for people to be more involved in activities, both in the community buildings, but also in the public realm. We've got a really exciting range of activities that we'd like to promote, from markets to performance spaces to social spaces and all sorts in the new town square and the new public park. And that range of activity will hopefully create a greater sense of pride, and people will really care about looking after the space. So it's a coordinated approach, I think. But I can hand over to Avni, if you don't mind, in relation to the estate management process.
Yeah, sure, Matt. So in terms of our kind of builds on from what Matt just said, but in terms of our overarching approach to kind of the long-term maintenance and management of the estate, really our approach and strategy is to ensure that we develop a management structure that's designed to give greater involvement and influence to the local communities. That's all the residents, businesses and community partners. So our intention is to provide an inclusive operating structure that's simple as well, so it's not too complicated, that has representation from all parts of the community to deliver affordable, relevant services whilst creating, like Matt said, that sense of civic pride and community ownership. So you know, an example of what we intend kind of this long-term management strategy to include will of course be keeping areas clean and tidy. That's kind of one example, because that's of course a fundamental requirement of the strategy, and will ensure that there's kind of, you know, a proactive plan in place. So for example, for street cleaning, maintaining all of the public areas, and ensuring that across the whole development and the estate, the intensity, the level and the frequency of all the kind of estate management, maintenance, cleaning activities reflects the usage. So for example, there's going to be more usage in certain areas like the square on certain days, and we'll make sure that there's kind of the kind of activities and the estate management and maintenance in place to be able to respond to the usage across the different areas of the development as well, whilst also of course minimising any disruption to kind of everyone that's there in the local community that are there. So we'll make sure our servicing strategy makes sure it's efficient for all the properties that are there, and the public areas can remain well serviced without too much disruption.
The next set of questions that were sent through to us regarding local policy, and I think particular to the Love Lane residents. So I think this again goes back to you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ian. We mentioned, so the question was, will there be sufficient amount of properties for the Love Lane residents to be rehoused? We mentioned earlier in the presentation, we recently announced that we'd secured additional funding from the Mayor of London to deliver 3 times more social rent housing, which the council homes at council rents that can be delivered as part of the scheme, which will be provided for residents on the Love Lane estate. The council is currently consulting on a draft local lettings policy and leaseholder offer, which sets out the intentions to offer eligible Love Lane residents a new affordable home in the High Road West scheme, including secure council homes for secure tenants, but also for non-secure tenants who are living in temporary accommodation. The local lettings policy is specific for this Love Lane estate and specific for making that offer for non-secure tenants in this instance. In the summer, there'll be a ballot of Love Lane residents where they'll be able to vote yes or no whether the scheme should go ahead. This is a requirement of the scheme. The scheme cannot go ahead without that yes vote, and it will be based on what's called a landlord offer. And this landlord offer will incorporate the results of the engagement, the consultation that's ongoing at the moment in relation to those policies, the local lettings policy and the leaseholder offer. And it will be a firm commitment. It will be a firm promise to residents. So if they vote yes, then it's a promise that we have to keep. Hopefully that responds to that question. There's a further question. What is the definition of affordable homes, and will this truly be affordable for the community? Affordability is a key part of the council's housing strategy. There is a substantial section in the housing strategy related to that recognises the range of types of homes and tenures that are required in the borough to meet the broad range of people's requirements and affordability. High Road West has made as a priority the delivery of the social rent homes, the homes that the council can buy as council homes for council rent. So the vast majority of the homes that are being delivered in the first phases will be those social rent homes, and they'll be part of a broader mix of affordable homes, which will be compliant with that housing policy, which recognises the requirement for affordability. It will be part of that mix that will extend across the wider scheme, meeting local people's need and maximise their choices.
Brilliant, thank you, Matt. We haven't received any more kind of live questions this evening, so we can take a bit more time to answer the next set of questions that were sent in advance to us. And I think the next question is about kind of local opportunities and entrepreneurship. And I think we're back to you, Matt.
Oh, thank you very much. The question reads: how will the scheme help entrepreneurship, educating and facilitating local people? So an important part of delivering effective employment and training support is providing a coordinated approach, which includes the whole spectrum of what High Road West is delivering. So that includes making sure that people have suitable homes and a suitable environment, and that we can support the enhancements of people's skills such as digital skills, which are almost inherent in all jobs these days, most jobs coming up these days, and access to employment support. So providing the people and the IT, the computers that people need to be able to access jobs and training, but also things like childcare and providing the support that people need to be able to access those jobs. One of the most important aspects of this will be to help people connect, to connect local residents to sustainable long-term jobs and training opportunities. This isn't just the number of jobs that are being created by the scheme, which is a large number, 3,000 in the construction phase and then 500, over 500 long-term jobs. But this is also about providing the opportunity for people to take up jobs in the wider area. It's about giving people the opportunity to take up jobs in central London or other parts of London, and to do that we're providing one-to-one employment and career support that links up to local services, established training and skills providers such as Haringey Adult Learning Service and Haringey Works, as well as the Beyond site, which is specific to the High Road West scheme. A particular emphasis will be on improving prospects for young people, and one part of the master plan we talked about today was the new Library and Learning Centre, which is a really exciting opportunity to coordinate the traditional functions of a library, but with a range of different facilities such as training facilities and workspaces which will be increasingly more important now. We are increasingly working from home, and people are more flexible about the types of workspaces that they require. We want this to be a hub, a genuinely public hub for skills and training, using the latest technology to make it a really exciting place to learn and to develop their employment skills. But we want to hear from you what you need. We have drawn together a lot of evidence and information and consultation, and talking to all sorts of people to try and understand what it is that provides people with the opportunities to get the jobs that they want. So we want you to come back to us and tell us what you're seeking so that you can take up those opportunities. Thank you very much, Ian.
Thanks, Matt. I think it's worth just maybe adding to that point that obviously we will be continuing to consult with people across the kind of spring and summer. So hopefully we will be getting lots more kind of thoughts and ideas on some of those really interesting points that have we've been raised by people in the community. We have two final questions that relate to design of kind of buildings and environmental standards. I think we're handing over to you, Alex, for this one.
Yeah. Oh,
I think Avni wanted to start, and then I might chip in.
Start, but Alex will definitely come in here. So yeah, we've had a really good question in that asks what efforts are being made to make the buildings and construction process as environmentally friendly as possible. So it kind of hopefully goes without saying, but ensuring all our development and construction activities throughout the entire life cycle of the project are carried out in the most sustainable and environmentally friendly way as possible is a key priority, not only for Lend-Lease and of course the council, but our wider design team, which Alex will touch on a bit later. So both Lend-Lease and council share really ambitious sustainability goals, which we're absolutely committed to try and achieve. So all of our buildings and throughout the development will be delivering in line with not only kind of delivering in line with the green building standards, but also hoping to exceed them throughout the scheme, and we'll be delivering ultra energy efficient buildings and ensuring that they respond to the local environmental conditions. So a few brief examples of this is kind of in the design of our homes. We are ensuring that we are really carefully choosing the materials that we choose for those homes and across all the buildings to eliminate any overheating and minimise any urban heat island effects. And this can also be achieved through kind of green infrastructure all throughout the scheme, which is really important to us too. So not only will we kind of have a really robust energy sustainability strategy for the buildings that we'll be delivering across the scheme and of course all the public space as well, but what we will also ensure is that we will reduce the impact of the construction activities on local air quality too. So this can be achieved by using efficient plant and machinery and just really carefully planning the logistics through the construction period. So as we said, us and the council and the wider design team have kind of a really detailed energy sustainability strategy between us, which will ensure that we deliver on all our targets and ambition to make sure it's done in the most environmentally friendly way. Alex, I'll just go to you to add anything.
Yeah, just to add to the buildings, but also to sort of from a placemaking point of view, you know, what makes buildings and places environmentally friendly is also things like bike storage and encouraging people to cycle to and from the neighborhood. So ensuring that all the homes have the right amount of cycle storage, as well as electric car charging points, so that if people do choose to drive, they can drive in the most energy efficient and environmentally friendly way. Aspects such as solar panels for renewable energy sources, and that has opportunities for lower cost, for lower fuel costs, and also ensuring that our homes are designed to be easy to maintain and also built to last. So that people can feel comfortable using their homes and using them in the best way to ensure that they are run efficiently and with environmentally friendly resources as well. I think I'm the next question, actually. Yep. So the next question is, how will the housing avoid blocking light to neighbouring roads? Well, there's a number of measures that can be taken to mitigate overshadowing onto neighbouring properties, but also to sort of the existing public spaces that are around the area. We have the benefit of having the railway line on the western edge, so that naturally creates a large setback from existing residents and properties on the west. We also have a fairly low rise high road, well, about 3-storey buildings, 2, 3-storey, 4-storey buildings along the high road and also along White Hart Lane. So, and also to the south of the site. So it's about being respectful to the existing context and the heights of those buildings, and to set back where we can from low rise and put heights within taller buildings, let's say within the development and away from existing residents and buildings. There are important regulations around daylight factors that we must adhere to, and so we undergo the master plan undergoes daylight and sunlight testing within the development itself, but also its impact to the existing context, the existing buildings around the area. So we have to adhere to that, and where possible, best practice and exceed required light levels within surrounding buildings and streets. So it's partly a placement of buildings, placement of key spaces, and the depth between adjacent buildings and the context, the existing communities around.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you to Matt, Avni and Alex. That actually concludes our kind of questions and answers that have been sent in advance. So now I'd like to hand over to the team who will be with you today and ask them to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Molly Perman. I am the Regeneration Manager for the High Road West scheme from Haringey Council.
Hi everyone, I'm Avni Mehta. I'm the project lead from Lendlease for High Road West. I've been working on this scheme since 2017, so really excited to continue the discussions on the master plan proposals with you today and over the coming months.
Hello there, my name is Nick James. I'm from Studio Egret West. We're the master planners and landscape architects on the scheme. We've been working on it for a number of years, but really looking forward to hearing your feedback on how we can develop the proposals further.
We are going to start with questions around green spaces, and I think we're going to be handing over to you, Nick, to answer the first of those questions. If you could please read that out and then respond, that'd be brilliant.
Okay, so I think the first question was, will there be parks for children to enjoy and where will they be located? So the short answer is yes. There will be quite a sizable park in the sort of centre of the northern area of the sites, which we're currently calling Peacock Park, in homage to the existing Peacock estate. And this will have play activities for young people, as an important aspect of the scheme. And there'll also be, as I sort of mentioned earlier, spaces for some sports and areas for people to relax and enjoy being outside. We're really sort of keen to bring as much greenery and planting as possible into the scheme. So sort of trees and planting beds, and other play areas to incorporate there'll be other areas to sort of incorporated play throughout the rest of the scheme as well. So that's really important for binding it all together.
I'm keen to make sure that we respond to the live question that has been sent through to us. So I will read that out, and this is from a local business group who have questioned, they've been in the area since 2013, and they're questioning what the kind of introduction of Mossell Square means for their business. And their question is, we support growth of our local community. However, we would like to know how you plan to help local businesses affected by the High Road West plans. So who from the team would like to answer that question?
I can take that one, Ian. Thank you for that question. So as we've set out, there will be new high quality business space delivered through the master plan. So for those businesses that are directly affected by the master plan, it's really important to us to work really closely with you. We set out our commitments in the business charter in 2014, and that makes it very clear that we really want to ensure that the existing businesses are kept in the borough, particularly in the local area, and ideally if possible, moving into the new space within the scheme. We really want to keep the existing businesses. We really want to make sure that also the associated jobs stay in the area. So that will be something that we really want to be talking to you about, and making sure that we can support you. As I say, if you do want to move into the and are able to move into the new scheme, or if you would prefer to relocate elsewhere in the area or in the borough, then that's something we really want to support you to do. So we also, as we touched upon, have a dedicated investment programme for businesses to provide support and training. There's also sort of shorter term opportunities around the High Road Revitalisation Programme that we will have available to support businesses, particularly obviously coming out of the difficult time that businesses have been having, and to kind of build up their capacity in the shorter term as well. And we're going to be having some specific business focused events coming up, so we will be in touch to talk about those, and really hope that you can join us for those sessions. And yeah, I look forward to working with you closely on all of that.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you for that answer. And I think it is important just to kind of remind everyone at our session today that this is obviously the beginning of a consultation, and we do want to keep speaking to local people and local residents over the coming months. There will be a recording of this kind of Q&A made available at the project website, which is www.highroadwest.london, alongside a kind of summary of questions and answers. But we would really encourage you to kind of get in touch with the team if you have any kind of more questions after today, or as we've said, as we kind of continue to engage and kind of consult with local residents, please do feel free to get in touch with the team at any time. So we'll leave this information up so that if you do want to kind of jot down a number and an email, you have time to do so. But other than that, we'd just like to thank everyone for joining today, and say that we look forward to speaking to you again soon as the kind of project progresses. Thank you very much.